team. I It's three, just in time. Welcome everybody to today's transportation subcommittee meeting here in the beautiful city of Milpitas. And I must say this is a joy to be a part of this subcommittee, very impactful for all our residents. So we'll have a really good meeting today, a really great meeting actually, efficient and sound. So I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order, and I'll perform the roll call. I'll look to the vice mayor. Present, I see.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you for bearing with me. And myself, I am here as well. We will go to the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand as you may. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, great. I always think of the vice mayor when we do the Pledge of Allegiance. And it's not just because of her patriotism, but because her granddaughter is named Liberty. Because every time.
Actually, you want to hear a story about how they named her Liberty?
Really quickly.
During 911, that was when my daughter was pregnant with her, so they decided that they were going to name her Liberty. So that was it.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? She's about that age, and that's pretty patriotic right there. And
yeah.
I think it's lovely to honor our country. So, all right, moving on here to the approval agenda, and I'll move to approve the agenda if I hear no objections. Hearing no objections. Okay, great. We have a second. The agenda is approved. Moving on to the approval of minutes. I'll move to approve the minutes.
Second.
And there is a second from the vice mayor, and the minutes are approved. Moving on to public forum. Let's check here for any attendees. We love our attendees. I see no attendees, and we'll move forward to item number 5, business items. Fantastic. Mr. Chan, please take it away.
Okay, for the first item, enhanced crosswalk striping beacon and radar speed feedback sign project review. Okay, City Council approved 2 traffic calming projects that enhance crosswalk striping and warning beacon and radar speed feedback signage project. These improvements were installed primarily near high pedestrian traffic residential streets such as around school and parks, and the location of the improvement listed on this table. This is a project map showing the location in graphical format. Again, they are primarily located near schools and parks. The project is now completed. Improvements have incorporated the latest standard and current best practices. Staff want to highlight some of these improvements. New feature to crosswalk warning beacons include rectangular flasher, as you can see flashing in front of you on the screen, similar to those of police cars and fire trucks. These flashers provide added visibility with its unique flashing pattern and high light intensity.
I like that.
For radar speed feedback sign, supplemental flashing beacon have been added to draw additional driver attention to these signs when they travel above the posted speed limit. As you can see, in addition to the electronics number displaying the vehicle speed, the additional warning beacon will light up when the posted speed limit is exceeded. And that's essentially the new feature that we included in the 2 traffic calming projects. Any questions and comments?
Yes, I'll go ahead and kick it off here. I want to thank the engineering department and yourself Mr. Chan and Mr. Erickson. We've been together on this sort of a whole project for quite some time, from funding it to the whole construction process, and to see that it's all done. I'm so proud of the work that you've done, Mr. Chan, and your department, and our Director of Engineering. Milpitas is safer now. It really is really, it's very touching to know that our families and our children are safer with these strategically placed initiatives here. I don't think right now I will look for any more of these, but I do know that in the future, I think there's plenty of room for more of these in Milpitas. We'll just continue to target our priorities within your department and the capabilities of your department going forward. And I'm just feeling a lot of joy to see that a number of these are up, and this is really an item I take great pride in, and I probably will make a drive around town one day that I have time to take a picture with these things, and just really years of a culmination for this to be completed here and be presented today. So we'll go to the Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm really glad that we put these new street lights on. So I'm just curious, how much does one of those cost? I think they're in the hundreds of thousands, or just curious, Steve.
So typically both the flashing beacon depending on how many of these flasher we place on the street. Typical installation is about $20,000 to $25,000 for each installation. For the radar speed feedback sign, if we can install it on existing street light pole, they are generally cheaper, approximately about $15,000. If we do need to install a new pole, they go up in price because we had to install the pole. So they range up to $25,000.
Okay, great. So I've been looking at some of the new ones installed over there by Pomeroy School. And I noticed that on a 1 block radius, there you have the crosswalk, you have 2 lights there where normally crossing guards cross the students. And then you have another one which is down the block. So I'm just wondering why it wasn't spread out more. Is that because we're just focusing in the school area?
It's primarily currently focusing on high pedestrian traffic. So those are pedestrian, crossing activity. Yeah, we definitely want to draw attention to motorists. And that's how they were, those locations were selected.
Okay, yeah, because I do recall there was some complaints about Washington Street, Arizona and Washington, that, people not stopping and cars driving too fast. But there are signs there. It does say 25. There's a couple of new signs that do say speed limit 25. So I'm glad about that. So, okay, thank you. Great job.
Before we go on, I just want to also add, as part of the first slide, we did acquire, as part of this project, 3 portable radar speed feedback signs that allow the city staff flexibility to place them where they're, unusual activities to kind of do traffic calming dynamically. Mm-hmm. So that will be rotating these 3 trailers throughout the city from here on out.
Oh, great. Okay. That sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Oops. So item number 2, state of autonomous vehicle technology. With autonomous vehicle when autonomous vehicle technology matures, industry expert expects they will be safer as compared to traditional cars with elimination of human driving errors. This allows for smoother traffic flow, reduced travel time, improved fuel economy, and reduced air pollution. In 2014, Society of Automotive Engineers International developed an autonomous vehicle classification with 6 levels ranging from fully manual to fully automated system known as standard J3016. Under this J3016 standard, level 0 has no automation. Level 1 and 2 have some automation, but the system relies on driver performing monitoring of the environments at all times. Level 3, 4, and 5 have automation system performing increasing level of driving and monitoring. In more detail, for level 1 driving assistant, this feature could include blind spot monitoring and adaptive cruise control that we see in cars these days. Level 2 automation provides steering, acceleration, and braking without driver input under some condition, but they're still with driver monitoring and act as the fallback system if something was to go awry. Level 3 provides fully automated driving under well-defined system or well-defined environment, but with drivers still monitoring and acting as the fallback system. Level 4 provides fully automated driving without driver monitoring or intervention in well-defined environment. By well-defined environment, this is such as a well-marked roadway and freeway. For level 5, fully automated driving is done without driver monitoring or intervention under all conditions, such as driving through a roadway under construction with lane shift and detours. Currently, there are more than 150 companies working on autonomous vehicle technology. A few notable companies include Waymo, Cruise, Argo, and Tesla that you may have seen testing on the roadway. Tesla marketed autopilot feature is actually classified as a level 2 vehicle automation. Generally, Tesla cars can drive itself on the highway, but requires the driver to monitor the driving condition at all times and be prepared to take control when needed. Pony.ai, located in Fremont, recently received approval from DMV to test automation in Fremont and Milpitas. This is likely a level 3 or level 4 driving automation. They are permitted to test under sunny weather condition and on a fixed route over a limited number of streets. Currently, there's no timeline has been given by manufacturer for level 5 vehicle automation where a driverless car can operate under any condition. Despite massive investment, industry experts believe that level 5 self-driving car technology is still a long way off before maturity. Because this level of driving requires evaluation and interpretation of unfamiliar roadway condition, which is much more complicated than a well-defined space like a well-striped and signed freeway. Public adoption of autonomous vehicle will depend heavily on regulatory development in the next few years. Autonomous vehicle require both the right legal and technological framework to become a reality to the general public. There are serious concerns when machine operates themselves in a potentially unfamiliar and dangerous environment. This is compounded when it involves people's lives. Self-driving cars have already been involved in a number of deaths since 2016. Regulation regarding autonomous vehicles are likely to grow and get more complex. This will be a challenge to companies on how they apply this technology in the future. That concludes my presentation. Any questions and comments?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chan. We'll go to the Vice Mayor, I believe.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So I had the opportunity to attend I guess a facility visit with Councilmember Darcy Paul and a few other folks from other cities at the Nero, I guess it's automobile automated headquarters in Mountain View. And I was very, very impressed. So what they do is they're specialized in not food delivery, but delivery service. And a lot of that includes, food like dashboard and all those. Actually, they have a contract with Domino's Pizza, I think. It's a huge one. And so I was telling them about Milpitas. We have an innovation center. So I was trying to recruit them to come over here. But anyway, you might want to have a field trip and go check out their facility. It's really very impressive. But those cars they're awesome. They just, nobody's driving them. They're just, they're hardwired to know their destination. And I really was impressed. So that on that note, on the automotive technology, that's the future. And they also introduced us to this one organization or agency called, what do they call it? A cul-de-sac. And so I guess the move is now for developers to start creating a cul-de-sac, like a drop-off zone in front of their developments. So because that's the future, where people want to get things, especially like high density housing where people want something delivered, like Amazon might want to deliver something. At least they have a space there they don't have to be driving around looking for a place to park. It's there. So that's part of the future for the development. But that was very interesting. And so thank you so much for that. It just went in line with what you're saying. That's the future. Thank you.
Very well. I have no further questions for this item. Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Mr. Chen.
Okay. For item 3, urban street design concept. National Association of Transportation Officials, known as NACTO, is an association of 86 major city and transit agencies formed to exchange transportation ideas, insight, practices, and cooperatively develop approach to national transportation issues. NACTO's urban design guideline outlines a vision for complete streets to provide local community with an environment where the people can safely walk, bike, drive, take transit, and socialize. Urban street design element could also be incorporated in the city's metro and midtown specific plan area where we see more intense residential development. Existing streets have typically 12-foot lane width that supports higher travel speed and generally more forgiving to driver errors. And here we see a prototypical street 12-foot wide across all lanes and also in the parking lot. In urban street design where lower speed is desired, lanes are narrowed to discourage speeding. Wider lane is still reserved for larger vehicles such as buses and trucks. Buffer space or physical barrier are created between cars and bicycles to improve bicyclist safety. As you can see here on this right side of the screen, we have a buffer bike lane and a row of parked cars separating moving vehicle and bicyclists. To encourage bike travel, bike traffic could be prioritized. In some city, green bike box is provided at traffic signal, allowing bicyclists to get in front of vehicle queues. This allows bicyclists to cross the intersection first without conflict when the signal light turns green. And typically, cyclists, as you can see, my cursor, they would ride up when the light is red. They'll ride up on the green lane, get in front of the vehicle, wait there until they get a green, and then they could proceed ahead without any traffic in front of them and cross safely across the intersection. Sidewalk area could be expanded to allow unobstructed walking path as well as provide opportunity for gathering space. In this example, the gathering space known as parklet is located on a portion of the parking lane. This type of gathering space is currently being used in Oakland, San Jose, and San Francisco. And I think both our Metro consultant and discussion in the Midtown area have talked about potential placing parklets in the parking lane. Intersection can be tightened up and crosswalk pushed towards the center to improve visibility of potential conflict. This intersection design have already been incorporated in the Metro area, as well as Main Street near the library, where we have a lot of curb extension narrowing the crosswalk walking distance. In key transit corridor, dedicated median transit lane could be used to improve transit travel time. It would be similar to what light rail corridor looked like on Tasman Street. This example shown on the screen is more geared towards a bus-only lane in the middle of the roadway. By implementing these design elements, neighborhood like Main Street, Midtown, and Metro area can be transformed to support more vibrant activities and not solely focus on vehicle traffic. And that concludes my presentation. Any question and comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chan. Just a really interesting item here. Where do you see these traffic or roadway strategies in the near future of our city?
So like I mentioned, these are prime for the Metro area, the Midtown area, the Main Street area, where we want more vibrancy instead of just vehicle moving back and forth on the roadway. I think those are the prime location that we could implement these urban street design concepts.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Vice Mayor, any comment?
Yeah, I really love the green bike lane concept. That is, it's really, really awesome, because I do see a lot of bikes that they have to wait in between the cars, and it's not safe. And this gives them that priority, and then people can see them, the vehicles can see them. So it's a really good safety precaution. I really do like that. I hope that we have that we will have that in our city. And yeah, so, and I'm just, I wanted to follow up with, I've been wanting to see more green bike lanes in our city, and I don't know when that's going to happen. So hopefully it'll happen soon, but this is great. Thank you.
Fantastic. Mr. Chan, do you have any information today? If not, it's okay, but do we have any information on the expansion of the green bike lanes here in town?
Green bike lane, we are implementing green bike lane as part of our street resurfacing project. Anytime we need to remove existing striping, we look for opportunity to install more green bike lane. We have been, every year as part of a resurfacing project, we have been including green bike lanes wherever we can.
Fantastic. Carry on, sir. We're getting the agenda.
And that concludes the business item for today's meeting, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on to other topics. I just want to touch on some of the speed humps discussion we've had in the past. Is our city transportation subcommittee going to bring forward any information on some of the speed humps, sort of strategies that we can go over, or is that something that needs to be sort of moved forward tonight or today?
So I could add that we do have a CIP project for traffic safety assessment citywide. We have not started that project yet, primarily because of COVID. That project includes an extensive traffic data gathering process. We like to start that process when traffic normalized. So that's why we haven't started yet. But as part of that traffic safety assessment, we look to have traffic calming as a key discussion point of that project.
Okay, fantastic. Now,
question on that.
yeah, okay, one moment. Yeah, you know, we understand the traffic conditions, you know, currently here in COVID, and who knows, you know, we don't know how long this pandemic is going to really continue. And I know the vice mayor and I are committed to the city for the rest of our lives. Pretty drastic to say, but it's really the fact of the matter. The vice mayor and I would like to see some speed, not bumps, but speed humps, strategies or low cost strategies on how we can address any evidenced traffic safety concerns in our residential neighborhoods. Mr. Chan, what do you recommend we do? I'll go ahead and ask you, rather than not being proactive with the reason of COVID. I think there's an opportunity for our city to take small, if not medium, exploration steps to see what strategies can be available. I love to be prepared with going over different speed humps or even roadway flags and other strategies that have been used in other municipalities. I'd love for us to bring that back to the transportation subcommittee to review. I think that's not a very in-depth request. I think we can agendize it for a future subcommittee, whether it's the next meeting or 2 meetings or even 3 meetings from now. I do want to be respectful to the time periods that we're in, but I think within the next 3 transportation subcommittees, I'd like to see some of these physical as items that other cities have deployed and employed to, you know, get folks to slow down a tad bit. I was up in Lake Shasta maybe a month ago, was it? And as they were doing road work with Caltran, they had these little tiny bumps on the road, maybe 3 of them or 5 of them. And that was probably a quarter mile from when they were stopping traffic and shutting down the lanes there on the interstates. And I thought that was pretty neat. It didn't take a whole lot of cement or labor, or maybe it wasn't as intense. So would love to see those sorts of items being presented to the council to take a look at for future purposes, as we will be here in the future. So is that a request we can accommodate? I'll go to our director of engineering. I do see a virtual raised hand.
Thank you, Mayor and Vice Mayor. So yes, that's something we actually are doing right now, which was mentioned by Steve Chan with the 3 mobile trailers that we have acquired, where those will be in field continuously, located around the city at a location for, I believe, every 2 weeks we're looking at. So those will, again, you know, indicate speed of oncoming traffic as well as document what that speed is. So that will allow us to, you know, basically record what's going on that particular street in terms of not only average daily traffic, but also the speed. So we can determine if there is a problem on those streets. And then if, you know, go back and look at what might be a reasonable low cost, as you mentioned, traffic calming measure if something else is actually required.
Absolutely. And we certainly want the data-driven decisions here to determine if some of these actions for some of these roads in Milpitas are required. So I definitely agree with you there. I know in the past history of Milpitas, there were different requirements for speed bumps or for traffic calming measures. And I know here in 2021, we have our requirements today. And I think in 2031, we'll have really evolving requirements And so I do want to recognize that. That's really policy making right there. And but I do would like to request. Let me stop. Let me pause myself right there, Mr. Erickson. Let me ask you this: those speed trailers. Now, when will that work be completed? Is it, and is it targeted locations, or are you just responding to actual requests from community members or maybe our police department?
So the 3 trailers that were acquired with this crosswalk and beacon project are going to be within the engineering department. So we're going to control them. Our inspectors will be the ones that will distribute those around the city. At this point, we're actually outfitting the 3 inspection vehicles with the tow hitch balls and wiring to be able to tow these trailers around the city. So we anticipate being able to deploy these toward the end of this month, August. So they'll be located all over the city at locations determined by Steve Chan on a continuous basis, as well as, for instance, requests by yourself and the council. If there's or a resident, if there's an area that they think is a problem, then we will add that to a list. Put the vehicle at that location at the next opportunity, keep it out there for its period of time for a week or 2, and we'll log that location and we'll look for trends if there's a potential problem. So to answer I think your second question is, these will be continuously deployed. So they're operated off solar power, so they don't need to go back to a location to be recharged, which is the current trailer that the police department has. Our intent is to have these continuously in deployment and rotation around the city.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. Sorry about that. So these are new trailers. Or
brand new.
I'm excited about this, right? So. I'm excited, right? I feel like you're a step or 2 ahead of me. And I feel I'm very excited to hear this. And I really love when our city staff is really ahead of the work. And can I ask one thing? And I'll stop talking here. Can you send me a picture of those things? Is there a file photo somewhere? It doesn't have to be the actual one, but
I can. My fingertips now. I actually have the specification sheet from the manufacturer, so I could send that to both mayor and vice mayor now if you like. I believe it has a photograph of what it looks like.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's pretty cool. We get excited about those things here in the transportation subcommittee. Thank you. And we'll go to the vice mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I just wanted to make a recommendation of that if we know of streets that do have a lot of high speeders, would that help if we submit those to you, and maybe you can do an assessment there, a traffic study there? Would that help to get the?
Definitely, we'll take input from the council subcommittee, the public, our partners in the police department. We'll take all the input and evaluate based on those input for deployment, and based on what data we get out of those speed trailer, we'll implement appropriate remediation traffic calming measure.
Mm-hmm. Great, and I do like the mayor's remark about he saw some new technology on traffic calming. It doesn't not so much that cement bump, but some little tiny ones. So that I thought that was pretty innovative. So yeah, looking into some new technology that will make it a lot better. So yeah, thank you.
So just FYI, those bumps are called rumble strip. Actually, we do have some near the along Park Victoria bordering Fremont. I think right on the Fremont side, they have some markers, and when you go over them, they rumble. The downside of them that they make a lot of noise. So on a residential street, if there's a lot of traffic, they do become kind of noisy, especially in the dead of night. Just some background information.
And that's why we appreciate the work you do. Yes.
Right. And just a note, Mayor, I have to leave at 4 o'clock. I have
we're wrapping up. You keep talking,
okay.
All
right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great. You know, I think our residents are gonna be really pleased to hear, you know, there's continuous work being done with those trailers and by your department. So again, thank you for your work, Mr. Chan and Mr. Erickson. Just always a good time here with this subcommittee. I appreciate the both of you and all the people in your department. Just really thankful. So we'll move on here. No other topics, Vice Mayor?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. Next meeting will be Friday, November the 15th. That's a-okay with me. I don't hear any objections. We can always adjust. I do want to go ahead and you got to put the number 8 adjourn here on the agenda. Whoever's working on it next time, because I think that's the most important one. That's the most important one. I think got to adjourn. Okay, great. That's it, everybody. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Be safe
Yeah.
and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.